Michelle Matthews is the pastor at Kingstowne Communion, a church that we've started, and she's here to tell us a little bit about how that mission is going. Would you welcome Michelle Matthews to the front?
Good to be with you. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey.
This congregation prayed for a long time and felt called to start a new church. And we studied lots of places where it could be. A lot of people in this room helped make that happen. And we picked Kingstowne as the spot. It was 5 years ago. And I know last Sunday was the 5th anniversary of Kingstowne. When we started it, we had a bluegrass band that played every Sunday for about a year. And in honor of that, you had Bluegrass Sunday.
Yeah, we did a bluegrass homecoming and had some folks from Aldersgate join us. And remarkably, our band doesn't do bluegrass. They don't specialize in bluegrass, but they actually pull it off pretty well. So it was a wonderful Sunday.
How was the Sunday?
We had a record turnout last week for multiple reasons, but we had about 125 people in worship, and it's normal at Kingstowne now to have anywhere from 85 to 100 any given Sunday. So
that's a fabulous accomplishment in 5 years.
Thanks.
Part of the way we're celebrating it is you're doing a pulpit exchange where you are here, and Emily Moore Diamond, part of our staff, is at Kingstowne.
That's right. I think their service is probably ending like right now.
So she's spent the morning there. So what did she experience at Kingstowne? Where is it and what's it like?
Right. So Kingstowne is still where you all dreamt it to be. So it's Kingstowne meets at Island Creek Elementary School off Beulah, back in the neighborhood there at 10 a.m. every single Sunday. And, well, not every Sunday, because we're a little different in that way. But most Sundays of the year, no, we don't take. No, it's we will hop to other places. We do something called pop-up worship. I'll talk about that.
Let's talk more about that in a minute.
But on a normal Sunday at Island Creek, what you would see is about, like I said, 85 to 100 people or so, maybe more, in worship. We would have probably about 10 babies in the nursery. That class is kind of getting a little overwhelming now, where we are looking at maybe another classroom for that. We have our children's ministry for 5 through 11 year olds on the carpet on Sunday morning as Alyssa gives her children's message. It's somewhere around 12 to 15 kids on that rug every single week. Depending on the week, sometimes it's up to 20 and they're just overflowing on the rug. And so Alyssa is our part-time children's director. We also have a band that is led by Brett Salmons.
Brett Salmon and his wife Gina were members of the church here and were part of the Journeys band.
The Journeys band at 9:45 then, 9:30 now. Y'all keep changing things while I'm gone. So the Brett comes from there. He's already built out a team that's about the size of the Journeys band, and singers and musicians from the Kingstowne area. We are fully Kingstowne now. Like, the people are from that area or serving a little bit north Lorton, a little bit east Springfield, into Fort Belvoir, which is a really great thing for our church, because I know that was a part of your original intent. We, last summer, when we hired Alyssa as our part-time children's director, she is the president of the Enlisted Spouses Club on Belvoir. And so she just has these immense connections that we could have never had on our own without her. And so we have many, many more people coming to us from Belvoir now. Another thing you would see on Sunday morning, if you were there, is our scripture would be read and our communion would be served by a couple, 2 or 3 of our 7 confirmands for this year. So first confirmation class, which I know is a big deal at Aldersgate.
Yeah, there was a period when the people that wanted confirmation at Kingstowne would participate in the confirmation here.
That's right.
And the dream was that this would be a self-sustained congregation providing everything a church does to a community.
Right.
So it's thrilling. You talked about the outreach into different parts. How are you able to reach new people?
We did not anticipate this happening, but 4 years ago, Easter, we created a relationship with Null's Produce. Does anybody know Null's Produce here? Are you fond of Null's Produce? I'm a big fan. Null's Produce is this little farm stand off Beulah. Only little piece of authenticity in the midst of that kind of main Black Friday shopping area for Alexandria, right? And they sell pumpkins, and they sell Christmas trees, and they do crop share, and they have a pig that everybody loves and celebrates the pig's birthday every summer, and the kids love it. And there's a lot, if you love Knowles, there's a lot of rapport with Knowles. And so we have created this similar kind of association with Knowles. When they think of Knowles, they think of Kingstowne, and we do Easter worship at Knowles. We do Christmas at the barn worship for Christmas Eve. We had 500 people worship with us on Christmas Eve this year. And we do many, many other events on their property. We also, because of how successful that was, began to do services in the parks locally, in the pubs. We just had Ash Wednesday at the pub we don't have a building to do Ash Wednesday like you all do, so we took it in the back room of the pub, and 65 people packed out that back room to receive ashes on this past Wednesday. And so what we've noticed is, we didn't anticipate that, but that is the number one way people find us. People out in the community for whom church is intimidating, this is intimidating, but also Island Creek is intimidating. Just anywhere that there's a church sign is intimidating. And so, but if they're willing to bring their friends, and they're willing to show up to somewhere like a pub, or somewhere like a park, or for instance, a woman in our church, Vicki, she has been attending now for 2 years. She met us. She was in a marriage that kind of went bad, but it was from a family that was mostly atheist, had nothing to do with church. They were running in the park one Sunday morning. Her and her teenage daughters, her preteen daughters, they're running in the park. They're spending their Sunday morning in the park, as some do. They see this thing going on, this worship service in the park. She kind of is intrigued, and 2 years later, Vicki volunteers with our children. She is a part of Common Tables. She's a member of our church. Her daughters are going to both be baptized and confirmed this June, and all because she happened to see church happening in public where it doesn't normally happen.
So when you do worship at the park, it is on Sunday morning?
Sunday morning.
So you don't meet at the elementary school. How often do you do this, going out into the community for worship?
Our goal is at least 10 times a year. At least 10 times a year, we're not at Island Creek. We are somewhere else.
How do they know how to find you?
Yeah, they have to really pay attention. So
we could never do that.
Do they read your emails?
Everything I write.
Everything you write, yeah. So people just have to read my emails, and I have to put it out there in every way, shape, or form, and we put signs on the Island Creek. We've actually had people, last year we did an Earth Day worship service where people showed up the very first Sunday to Island Creek. It was their first Sunday. We put a sign out there that said, we're at the park, and they came to the park. They were just 5 minutes late to the service, but yeah, they came to the park instead. We just keep seeing these transformations happen through people who show up at these other times, not to Island Creek. And one other example I would say is with all that's going on in the Methodist Church right now, we have a couple who joined us in worship starting in January at Island Creek, who met us at the barn when we did Christmas worship at the barn at Knowles. Carly and Megan have been attending, and I didn't know, because I'm busy doing things on Sunday morning. I didn't know they hadn't been taking communion. No idea they hadn't. I didn't see it. I guess maybe others had. This past Sunday in worship, as we had to talk about this big weighty thing in the United Methodist Church, and we offer our words of welcome and worthiness for them and for their community, they were sobbing, and for the first time they took communion in our church. And so I get an email from them saying, for the first time I felt like I was worthy enough to receive. And of course we have to say, you don't have to be worthy to receive. And yet, completely unchurched, totally no experience, but because they found us at the barn, now they find us at the school.
Part of when we started Kingstowne Communion was to try different things that would be riskier to do here, but we could learn from this pilot project ways to reach people with the gospel. So it's thrilling to know that that's happening.
Yeah.
The other thing we were hoping for was a sustainable congregation, one that would be on its own. We started Kingstowne in partnership with the Virginia Conference, the statewide organization, and they came up with money. We came up with money. I know this year all the money has run out that the state's willing to contribute to this project. And Aldersgate has been committed for 5 years and is still committed. Tell us about how Kingstowne's doing on the road to sustainability.
Sure. So statistics say that the average new church start, it takes 5 to 6 years to reach sustainability. We are at year 5 for this project, with some hiccups along the way, right? But we truly see ahead of us sustainability like never before. Another statistic, only 1 in 5 new church starts reach sustainability, ever make it past that 5-year mark. Only 1 in 5, 4 out of 5 fail. So we are defying the odds over at Kingstowne. We are about 70% of the way towards sustainability at this moment. The last 2 years specifically, we've watched congregational giving grow by 30,000 in commitments every year. And so we see ahead of us 2021, maybe next 18 months, 18 to 20 months, I would say we are looking at sustainability right before us. But in order to be sustainable, we have to maintain, obviously, the staff and the facility rental. We exist super lean. I mean, we're about as lean as they get. But we have to maintain that and continue our relationships with Knowles, which is our big connection. That is what keeps bringing people into the life of our church. And so we are grateful that you all have decided to devote for your mission for Lent, for your Lenten fundraiser this year, for your Lenten offering, the Kingstowne Communion being at the heart of that.
We do missions every Lent, and we pick a variety of things. We've put a sanitation system in Guatemala. This year we want to do something local, and Kingstowne Communion is our local mission.
Yeah.
So we're inviting people during the season of Lent, in addition to giving up chocolate or judgment or whatever they're doing, to include almsgiving, making a priority of making gifts. And we want those gifts to go to Kingstowne, to be able to keep it sustainable. I mean, I would hate for Vicki not to be in church.
Right.
I would hate for the couple to not know that they are valued by God, that Christ died for them. I want that message of the gospel to be available to everybody. So we want to support what's going on.
Yeah.
So we're going to spend all of Lent raising money to, all of it will go, that comes in those purple envelopes that are in the bulletin, in the pews, to the Kingstowne mission.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful for all that you've given up until now, and while we're at a key pivot point in our church where we need about $40,000 to $50,000 to operate this year, we believe that will be less next year and less the following year because of you, and so we're grateful, and keep praying for us.
Thank you, Michelle. Would you thank Michelle Matthews?